Okay, so let's say you need to write a report for school for a project. One way you can do it is to use Microsoft Word. Come up over here on your taskbar to the W in the blue where it says Word and just left click it to open up Word. You have a choice of different kinds of documents, some that are already made in certain ways, except that you have to fill in the actual wording. But just go to blank document, and now you're ready to start typing. So we could type, Will is a wonderful young man. Or we could type a sentence that contains all the letters of the alphabet. And that sentence is, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs. That sentence contains all the letters in the alphabet. You look and you'll see every letter is in one of those words somewhere, at least once. And that's a great sentence for when you learn to type, to practice typing faster and faster, because you have to be able to type all the letters. So you go, the quick brown fox jumped. Now, let's say this is your whole report and you finished it. Or we could do this. We could do, roses are red, violets are blue, some poems rhyme, but others don't. Roses are red, violets are blue, some poems rhyme, but others don't. Because that one doesn't. Anyway, now what you need to do is to be able to save it so that you can have it at any time. You could also print it, and your parents will have to show you how to do that on their setup, but you want to save it. So you go up here and you either click on this thing that looks like an old-timey disk for saving stuff on, or you go into File, Save, and here we'll save it. Now, the trick is to find a place to save it and name it where you can find it later when you need it. So we're going to browse, and in this case, I'm going to go to my documents, and I'm going to go down to, well, I will create a new folder. I'm in documents. I'm going to create a new folder by clicking here where it says new folder, and I'm going to name the folder Will. I'll tell you what, we'll call it Will David. So there's the folder Will David. You click on the folder and now double click on it to open it up. And we're going to call this, we'll call it Wonderful Will. And now we're going to save it. And now it's in that folder, in that file. And we can bring it up at any time. And I'll show you that by closing this program now that it's saved. And I'll go into my folders, and I will go into documents, scroll down to find the folder that says Will David, and there's the file that says Wonderful Will, and there it is. And also, you could email it to somebody as an attachment if you want to. If you have to turn it into school, you could email it or put it in however they tell you to turn stuff in. And that's it for creating documents. I'll show you a few tricks in documents and then we'll go from there. But we'll go back to that document. And suppose you wanted to make part of it bold. Okay, you put your cursor where you want to start, push down the left button and go over the part you want to make bold. And let's just say we're going to make this whole poem. That's not really a poem, but we're going to make it be in bold print. So we've got it now. It's called selected because there's an area around it of gray. And we go up here to the B for bold, and now it's in bold print. If you want to, you could make this line be in red print. If you want to, you could make this line be in blue print. We'll choose blue here. If you want to, you could make this be purple. If I can find, there's purple. There you go. There's colors. Now, suppose you wanted to make this be in italics or some part of it. Let's just say Fox. We'll put Fox in italics. Notice each time I do this, I'm just holding down the left button on my mouse and moving the cursor over the words I want to select. And now we can make it italics. There it's italics. If we wanted to emphasize that you're young, we could make that bold, and we could also underline it by using the U with the underline under it. So you have these things that the B stands for bold, the I stands for italics, and the U with the underline stands for underlined. And if anyway, that's just some of the things that are in Word, and you can play with it and see some other things. Just in all these programs, you can play around and see what you can learn and figure out and do with them. So anyway, and now we're going to save that as a different file because I don't want to copy over the one that we already saved. I liked it the way it was originally, but suppose we want to save this also. So we're going to do save as, and that makes it be a different name. Now it's already going to go into the same folder that says Will David, but we need Wonderful Will, and we need to change the name to Wonderful Will bold italics, etc. And we'll save it that way. Now, if we look in that folder, Will David, now you'll see there's two files. One that's Wonderful Will that comes up like this, and one that's Wonderful Will bold italics that when you double click it comes up like that. So that's basically what there is to saving. And I'll show you, let's suppose that we go into your folder, Will David. Now I'm going to create a new folder, which come up here to where there's a picture of a folder. Click on it. It says new folder. I'm going to call that school. Okay, and then just do that. Now I'm going to go back to Will David, click on there. I'm going to do another new folder, and it's going to be sports. Now, let's say in school, we go into the school folder. Let me show you that again. There's the word school. I'm going to double click that. And now I'm going to create some other folders. This one will be math. And then we're going to do another one that's English. We'll do another one that's history. We'll do another one and call it, I don't know, geography. I don't know if they still teach that or not, but that was a subject that I had. And then suppose you are also taking, say you're taking Spanish. So now you've got folders under Will David, under school. You go into Will David, you go to school, you go to Spanish, and anything that you write for Spanish class you can save in that folder. That makes it easy to find your work when you are looking for something that you've written for a particular class. And then for sports, I don't know what you would put in that, but let's say you make a folder for basketball and make a folder for baseball and make a folder for golf and a folder for tennis, and we'll make a folder for fencing. And that way you could put anything in those folders that you either find and get off of the internet, or that you write yourself and then put in there. So that's the use of folders and files. And when I was done and I was watching that, I realized that in your school folder, I should have put one for science. I didn't even think about that, even though I took a lot of science in school. And in your sports one, I should have made a folder for soccer. I forgot about soccer. I'm sorry. I'm so dumb sometimes. Anyway, see ya.